Throughout a character's development in comics, it's pretty common for them to go through ups and downs in their personal lives and with their personal relationships. However, there are some relationships in comics that have just been pushed to the absolute limit.
Just so many times over that they just make you feel like you don't want to read about them anymore.
Yeah, it makes the reader question if they even want them to be together. If they're even right together.
No, God! You and I have become like victims of reading about these relationships.
Dude, all readers have. All comic readers have been victim at one point or another of the most toxic relationship possible.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week. I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
Together we are the Comic Lads, and today we're talking about the most toxic couples in superhero comics.
Before we get started, guys, we want to hear from you in question of the week. Who do you believe is the most toxic relationship in comics?
Let us know down below. And before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the lads.
Join the Lad Nation.
Become a fellow lad. Should we get into it?
Okay, there are so many different options to talk about.
I know you want to talk about this one.
I really want to talk about this one.
Yeah.
The first one on our list is Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris.
Yeah, Green Lantern and Star Sapphire.
I have a personal vendetta because we've talked about this in a couple other videos, and me and you on our personal lives have talked about it a bunch also. But Hal and Carol in Jeff Johns' iconic, arguably one of the best superhero runs of all time, his Green Lantern run, built up this couple. He took like the scattered pieces of their relationship from previous writers and built them up to something really, really great, something that you want to back and read. Personally, I love the interactions between them in his run.
Me too.
But in the years since that run is finished, it seems like this relationship has just reverted back to what it was prior.
Bro, not even in the years since, bro. In the weeks since his run ended, they instantly changed it and made her start sleeping with his co-worker, the younger Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, we've talked about that in other videos. Just absolutely disgusting. A fellow Green Lantern brother of his, and then acts super whack to Hal about it, right?
And she's like, yeah, don't make it a big thing.
In canon, we know that they end up together in the future. There's like a flash forward where you see them getting married, you see that they're having a kid together.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a beautiful ending to his comic run. And so we know that in this universe, they're gonna end up together.
Just because of the cyclical nature of superhero comics, we're never gonna get there anyway.
But now we're just in the cycle of Carol basically switching back and forth between being okay with Hal being like the flyboy of the DC universe and the kind of reckless gunslinger, and being absolutely against it. And it's just like, at a certain point, you gotta make up your mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The constant back and forth just creates such a toxic feeling for not only the characters, but also the reader.
Yeah, because I'm just like, well, what's the point of me reading about this relationship anymore? Like, I have no hope in it, you know? Okay, guys, the next one that we're gonna talk about, for me, like, one of the worst couples in all of comics. We're talking about Scott Summers and Jean Grey. This couple maybe has been through the ringer more than any other couple in comics.
Yeah, and if you're a newcomer to X-Men through X-Men 97, you can see firsthand just a taste of what comic readers have had to
Just
deal
a
with.
taste, bro, of like clones and pregnancies and
Resurrections, rebirths.
and telepathic cheating in the comics. When they were together, Scott cheated on her mentally with Emma Frost, who was like making herself mentally look like Jean. It's just really weird and kind of icky, and I just feel like at this point they shouldn't even be together.
I just want to say also, something that really irritates me is the kind of love triangle between her, Logan, and Scott.
You don't like it?
It's always like a different pair cheating on the other. For me, that feels really icky. I know like X-Men is all about like interpersonal relationships between everyone, you know, that lives at Xavier's school and all that. But it just feels icky, like all these characters getting passed around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super weird, man.
It's so weird.
You didn't know about this until today, which is so funny. But the previous run of X-Men that just ended recently in the comics, the Krakoan era, I don't think it's ever verbally confirmed, but it's heavily implied that Scott, Jean, and Logan had a polyamorous relationship together, and you're just like, what?
That's so whack, dude.
So like, and like, no hate to polyamorous relationships, you know, like do your thing, but just with these characters, like Scott and Logan are supposed to hate each other.
I know.
There's no way they would ever like.
It's supposed to be a rivalry between them, and it's made even more bitter by the fact that they both love Jean.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck it.
Actually, now we figured it out, I guess.
Yeah. Do they all bang together?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'll tell you this: they all live in the same house,
So whack.
and I think Cable, their son, lives there too.
Oh. This is what I'm saying though. Like, comics just like go too far nowadays.
Yeah, they do, and it's like, yeah, this is like rated teen, but why is there like insane, weird sexual deviancy?
Who wants to read that? You know what I mean?
Saying, bro. It's so weird. Like when they first established this new era of X-Men in the book called House of X, you see like Scott and Logan sharing a beer together and kind of like looking at each other like, as like Emma and Jean are like walking away together, and you're just like, what are you trying to say here?
It's like an X-Men orgy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. That's what it is.
Oh god.
Isn't it just heinous?
Xavier joins and he like projects himself astrally into the orgy. Like, come on, man.
Bro, you know he's watching.
You wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put it, but no, Xavier's a sick fuck in the comics, bro.
Yeah.
He's a sick character.
I don't know, maybe I'm just like twisted or something in the head, but I prefer to read a relationship that despite all the bad things that have happened to them, trials and tribulations that they face together, whether it's in their personal life or their superhero life, they can still be together and put all that aside for their love. Like, that's the kind of story I like to read.
I fully agree.
But it's not the type of story the writers like to tell.
No, they just like to have constant turmoil and sexual deviancy.
The next one on our list, I think we both have a huge disdain for what has happened to this relationship
Absolutely.
in recent years.
Yes.
It is Batman and Catwoman.
There are a lot of people that think Batman should just never be with anyone. Do I want romance to be a constant staple in every single issue of Batman? Like, not necessarily.
They should treat romance with Batman like how they treat Robin's inclusion in stories. You know what I mean? Robin obviously works with Batman.
Yeah.
He's his most trusted partner, but a lot of the Batman stories you read in current years or stories of the past,
Sometimes Robin's just doing his own thing.
yeah, Batman just solves it on his own.
Yeah.
And that should be how they treat relationship. Like, people I feel like are very guarded with Batman's single life.
Yeah.
They fear that like his love interests are going to come into every story and kind of take away that lone wolf aspect of his
Yeah,
character.
or like make him feel like he's older, you know, like yeah, as long as he's single, he's like young and we can write stories about him forever. Can we not write good Batman stories while he's happily with someone?
All that to say is that the Catwoman and Batman romance has just been going through ups and downs for the last like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, dude, I mean, like, a lot of people will blame Tom King because he teased throughout his whole Batman run for like 50 issues that they were gonna get married.
And it was great.
It was awesome.
Seeing their relationship.
Bro, when he asked her to marry him, I'm like, Batman's growing, man.
I actually have a core memory of a few years ago when you came over to my place and you dropped that news on me.
Yeah.
It just popped into my head. I don't know why. And we were both, I remember that day we were both discussing it. It's exciting because like characters very, very rarely progress and are able to evolve.
Yeah.
And that was a moment where we were both like, holy shit.
It was like a full circle moment for us, I feel, especially since we grew up reading Batman Hush as one of our favorite comics in our formative years. And in that book, their relationship is awesome. He reveals to her that he's Bruce Wayne, and then at the end, it's tragic. His pain doesn't let him stay with her, and they break up, and it freaking hurts. And then finally, here they're gonna get married, and she leaves him at the altar? I'm like, what?
I read that recently for the first time, and the whole beginning of the book, I'm like so hyped. It's so cute. You know what I mean? It's nice to see like Batman with his nerves a little bit shot. You know what I mean? You could tell that he's a bit nervous for it. And then she just leaves. And like, I remember finishing that book and I was just like, this was the most disappointing ending to any comic book I've read.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel right. Selena, after like all these issues, would not do this.
Yeah.
There's no way. Don't excited people were about this. Some like nerds got married at comic book stores for the release of this.
Imagine that. And then it doesn't even
And then you read it and she leaves him at the altar.
God. That's so sad, dude.
That's what the first day of your marriage is built upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, now she's just dating someone else in the comics while Bruce is like calling her and hearing her talk to her boyfriend on the phone, and he's just like, oh, never mind, I'll hang up. It's like, what?
No, like in our recent cuck video, like Batman's getting done dirty right now. Dude. He's getting cucked. It's crazy.
He is.
The last one on our list, and you know, it's funny because looking at our list, most of the most toxic couples are the most popular popular ones that everyone thinks to when they think of comic relationships.
Yeah, that couldn't be more true for this one.
Definitely. The final couple we're talking about is Pete and MJ.
You guys are so surprised for sure. This couple sucks.
It's bad.
It's just bad.
It's the end of the video.
Thanks for watching, guys, for the comic lads.
This one kind of has a similar thing that Hal and Carol has. It's constantly like MJ flip-flopping back and forth between I can handle the stress of you being Spider-Man because I love you so much and I want to be with you no matter what. And on the other side of that being like, this is too stressful for me. You're always out getting yourself probably killed. I can't deal with the stress.
You know, when we were growing up, when we were little kids, who does Spider-Man belong with? Like, oh, MJ, of course. It has to be MJ. It's MJ in the movies, it's MJ in the comics, it's MJ in all the video games, you know? The relationship is so beautiful and pure, like unbreakable in every other medium but the one that they're born from, the comics. It's mind-boggling that they're still vehemently keeping them apart and just doing comic book fuckery with them, bro.
Comic cuckery.
Comic cuckery. Literally.
Yeah, everything that's happened with her and Paul, notably. God, we can't escape talking about Paul.
We can't. No, he's actually, he is Mephisto.
No, he's Comic Lad's arch enemy.
He is. He is.
But like everything that's happened between them, I feel like we both feel like the damage is irreversible.
It is. Just keep her with Paul at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and let Pete be with Felicia. Please.
I want that so bad.
I want it so bad too, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, you guys have bled me dry.
Yeah, and it's not even just like a recent thing. Like, this has been happening since like back in the 70s, dude. Like, they were married for a while. They've been broken up. Their marriage was sold to a devil. At this point, it's just like, there's nothing more you can do to hurt me.
Yeah.
I am numb.
I am.
I am numb.
I am unfeeling. They're supposed to be the Lois and Clark of Marvel Comics.
I know, they're supposed to prop each other up. Oh god, I mentioned it so many times, but in the Ultimate Universe, everyone loves that.
Yeah.
They love that they're together, they have kids, a staple relationship.
But bro, that's what I'm saying. Everywhere except 616, they're perfect. They're perfect in Ultimate. They're perfect in the cartoon. They're perfect in the new video games. They're perfect in Spider-Verse. They're perfect in the new Ultimate Spider-Man comic. Like,
and I've seen the argument and a lot of comments, especially on our previous videos, where people will argue that they do this back and forth to create suspense and drama.
but there isn't any anymore.
Inevitably, yes, they will get back together, but inevitably, they'll just break up again.
Yeah, no, it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf at this point. Like when Marvel for the 12th time is like, oh, guys, look, we might be bringing them back together. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I will not be reading it.
You've made me not like MJ.
Literally.
Or Pete.
Or Pete. It's like 616 Pete, bro. He's such a loser.
I just want to read wholesome, good stories. Writers and Marvel and DC editorial, I feel like think that...
We just want to read about, like, turmoil constantly.
Yeah, but they also think that you can't write good stories with
happy characters.
With happy characters, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if, like, Lois Lane started banging fucking Jimmy Olsen or something.
That's literally what it is.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Let us know, who do you believe is the most toxic couple in comics? Is someone on our list? Someone else? There's a whole freaking list of different characters that have just been done dirty by comic writers.
Yeah, we could make like 4 more of this exact video talking about different characters in each one of them.
Definitely. Let us know if you want to know on the flip side who are the greatest couples in comics, because that's another video idea that we definitely have written down in our logbook.
Also, be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the lads.
Join the lads.
Become a comic lad and join us on our journey.
We love you dearly.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Nice.